What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to Sunless Sea. My name is Splattercat, and I'm happy to have you here today as we set sail once again, although I do want to abbreviate this episode only slightly, just a little bit, to take a second out and kind of talk about where we want to go with this series, because I am a little bit hesitant about continuing the series. And so before I can hear the collective panic right now. I can absolutely, it's palpable. I can see the waves shaking through the air and so forth. But there are reasons for this, and the reasons that I would tell you right now, it's that the game has become very, very grindy, and we're not getting a lot of storyline out of it anymore, and that's due to the fact that the game is not completed yet. Obviously, it's still in pre-development. Oh, we satisfied her yearning for souls. We got 30 of that. Maybe we should take her more souls and see what happens. But, like, for example, in the last episode, we did a full roundabout trip. This episode, we're about to do the exact same thing because we got another quest for that other area off to the right that we, like, have to do. And if I wasn't doing that, then I'd probably just be grinding Lifebergs, since that's about all that you can accomplish at this point in the game. And oh my god, how did that happen? That was weird. Come back. Come back! I need you over here. What? No! Oh, there it is. Okay, you click on this little leather part right here. Got it. I knew I could fix this. If I tried hard enough, I knew that the digital book would not outsmart me. So anyways, as I said, I'm not really sure what to do with this series. Like, I'm not a grinder. I'm not the kind of person that enjoys sitting around grinding for long periods of time, and yet the game has kind of come to that. And so, I don't know. I'd like to take your opinions on what you think I should do, because I don't really enjoy grinding off-screen or on-screen. And so, as somebody, that's one of the main reasons that I don't play a lot of JRPGs, is because they have the tendency to bog down and get a little grindy sometimes. It's also the reason why I don't play a lot of MMOs anymore, is because they tend to get really grindy once you get to the end game and you're trying to get reputation levels up and, you know, all those random, like, little things they put in to use up your time. But I'd love to hear your comments down below, because I'm not sure whether or not I should continue this series. Now, I understand that you all really like this series, and I like the game, but it appears as though we've pretty much hit kind of the end of our limits when it comes to the storyline of the game. And so what I'm going to do is we're going to do another roundabout trip today, because we have things to do, like, all over the place, so we may as well. We've got to go up to Codex, but we've also got to go all the way out to Guider's Morn, and so since those are the things that we have to do, those are the things that we're going to do. It's the only way that we know how to occupy our time anymore. I do also want to use the hunting trophies when we get down to... Let me take a look at the map here. In the previous episode, we had killed off a couple of those sharks. It had cost us a crewman or 2 or 3, or I don't know. I don't keep count because I don't even know their names. They're just sort of expendable little dudes. I realize that they don't have names. I'm trying to be funny, though. I hire people, I don't even learn their names, and then we just feed them to sharks in order to get ourselves extra money. And while feeding people to sharks... I don't know, they seem slightly offended that I can't even just be like, no, John, no. I'm just like, oh, no, You have been pulled over the side of the ship by the shark monster. That guy, I'm gonna miss him so much. And so I think that some people are slightly offended by my habit of not memorizing any of it, but we persist. Let's grab our port report from Quaker's Haven, and then can I explore it? We've never done drinks at the Cock and Magpie, so let's try that. Let's see here, we lost one terror. The trees of the Neath are scraggly and wretched, scraping a living with parasynthesis, but the apples of Mutton Island are tart and powerful, perfect for cider. Cider, this stuff is stronger than it looks. You stretch out in your seat, stare through the leaded window at the safely moored ship, and find yourself whistling. The landlord gives you a friendly grin and goes back to wetting his cleaver. Why is it that everybody in this game does something threatening? Just after I start to make friends, they all do something threatening. So for example, the ladies that we have dinner with, they turn into giant, like, wall-hugging monsters that are running around super crazy vampire style. Like Nosferatu Part 2. Oh, I should go. No! We gotta go to the Cumaean Canal. Oh, I don't want to go over to the Cumaean Canal, but you have, like, ooh, Restless Nights. Our pages are a little bit higher because we hired a new person that has, like, a bonus to pages. Still, 44% isn't really at the threshold where I feel like we're going to accomplish anything. What's our terror at? 44? Let's live on the edge. Cross the fingers. The whole Neath lit up like a snuffer mask. There's something in the roof, Captain. It's in the roof. It's watching us. Eyes in a face, eyes in a face. You have him subdued. No discipline this time, but you require your first officer to keep an eye on him. We gain 10 fragments, 1 terror. Oh, that's not so bad. 1 terror is not so terrible. It could be a lot worse. I mean, we lost a terror back at the cider place. The reason you always want to go to Cumaean Canal is because whenever you go over here, you have the chance that you'll get strategic information or that you'll get moves in the great game, both of which are lucrative, although not as lucrative as they once were. The developers have had a habit of the last couple weeks of nerfing things without saying anything about it. Like, your game will mysteriously patch in Steam, and then, like, things won't be worth money anymore. And they keep doing that, and I was like, the game's already pretty grindy. I don't think you need to, like, get rid of money-making tactics. I mean, I'm already sitting around killing lifebergs for hours at a time just trying to get treasure. I think really what they need to do is they need to make trade routes more lucrative so that you can run trade routes while you do all this stuff, and then once you... Oh, Admiralty Commission. I forgot that I had to go down here. Okay. So we got that. We've got our port report. And then... Oh, they actually got rid of the events down. There's no event down here. Apparently it takes a little while for it to come back, I guess. So there's no event here, so that was a giant waste of our time, aside from getting our Admiralty report. We're sitting at 12 fuel. I actually don't know if that's going to be sufficient to get us all the way up to Guiders Moor, to Port... No, we need to actually go all the way up to Port Palmerston. Let's go to Godfall. We'll go to Godfall, Polythreme. We'll hit the station with that thing that we picked up, because we still have that, right? Let me take a look here. We had a thing that needed to go to the station. Let's see. Do I still have the thing? I don't remember what it was, but it was... Yeah, the Sooth and Cooper long box. So we need to take that to the port, and so I think that's what we'll do. Let's go ahead. I'm going to head to here. We're going to bounce back to the buoy over here and then over to Godfall if we can manage it, because I think that's probably the best way that I can keep my terror down slightly. So from there, it should be slightly to the northeast. We'll be able to catch the aura around it, and if I can skate around it like so, we should be alright. I think we are going to get a little bit of nightmare strength in this case. I've been hoping that we'll get a new engineer whenever we go back to port, but it simply hasn't happened yet. We're still using the engineer with very few veils, and so I'd like to have an engineer with a few more veils. You know, like a canceled wedding or something. Just extra veils laying around everywhere. Canceled weddings are kind of a bummer. Like, you know how you always have that friend couple that they've been dating for like 10 years, and then they like start their wedding, and then all of a sudden they're just like, and they just like break up right before the wedding? Weirdest thing ever. But I suppose when you get closer to, like, wedding day, like, I guess the problems must start to peak out. I don't know. I've never been in that situation before. I've never been, like, confined to that tiny little space, so I'm not sure what to say. Let's go with the hunting trophy here. We gotta go of shouting, so we'll get the... Oh, I should have brought them wine, huh? I should have brought them wine because we have extra cargo space. We could have made ourselves an extra 150... Well, bad planning on my part. Then again, what does this do? Of blood! So the trophy inspires the monks to feasts of bragging. This one broke a giant albino moray's neck. That one wrestled a heptycheer. A third punched his way out of a bound shark from the inside. A fourth, and so on. You are largely forgotten, but there are truths of note among all the tipsy boasting. And so you get a Z story, a tale of terror, and a memory of distant shores. So the nice thing about some of these is that we can slightly... Well, no, we can't actually. You can only turn Z stories into Mooter Salt, which I think it's 5 for Mooter Salt, so that you can actually just sell the Z stories for more money. But the nice thing is that is worth something at least. We got about 45. If we were to sell off everything that we got for the hunting trophy, we'd make about 45 echoes. It's not much, but it's something. I'm going to save the other one. And what we'll do is we'll take the other one up to Abbey Rock, since we're going over there anyways. Let's go down to Polythreme, we'll hit the crab cake, we'll go up and around like this, and then we'll go back to London. We're not going to make this a full trip around. I mean, it seems like a little bit of a shame. Let's go out to the station to Guiders Moor and come back. I think we can make it. I do want to make sure that I get the man's box before I'm not the man's box, I want to drop off the cash for the blind man or the blind bruiser or whatever his name is before I get anything else done, because that's always one of those imposing challenges that I'm not really positive what happens if you don't do it. I've noticed that your character can accumulate wounds over time. I'm willing to bet you probably just get wounded if you don't do it or something. I don't know. It seems like as a fearless Z captain I would go straight Indiana Jones on that ass, but I suppose every now and again you get shivved out of the darkness and there's nothing you can do about it. I was going to go down to Polythreme, but I think if we go roundabout that way, we're going to accumulate A, too much terror, and B, we might be cutting it a little bit close on fuel. I think we would have 3 to 4 tanks left, but I don't like to get myself into fuel problems, because if you run out of fuel, you're pretty much toast. I mean, you don't die, but it's not good either. I think I had it happen one time in one of my free playthroughs on my own. So Depot 3, let's see what's going on here. So let's look from a distance, and we get the port report Station 3. And we can search for other signs of visitors. 60%, let's try it. A few pages torn from a logbook begin with a passage of music, a sweet low children's tune. After that come many verses that make no sense at all. They go on and on about purple fires and upside-down houses, a fistful of roses the color of brandy, and dolls with buttons for teeth, the soft glossy pelt of an octopus, and the sweet juice of Brazil nut. By the end, you are humming along to yourself. It's terribly soothing, this song. And so you've got 20 fragments. Brazil nut? Is that the same thing as betel nut? I don't think that it is. Betel nut is essentially cocaine. Like, you chew it and it gets you super, like, high out of your mind. A lot of people don't know this, but it's legal in the U.S. You can buy it at, like, Asian food stores. They have it right down the street from you. You can buy betel nut, and if you put it in your lip and you chew it, it'll get you high as a kite. I mean, you gotta chew a lot of it. Like, the people, it's from indigenous tribes in South America, and they chew betel nut. They do it in their free time. It's kind of like smoking for them. And so, like, while they're mending nets or doing whatever they're doing, they chew betel nut. So you've got to chew it for a little while, but it'll get you pretty buzzy, especially if you've never done it before. The only way past the walls is an unimposing but sturdy-looking triple-locked silvery metal gate. A sign beside it reads "Deliveries." The gate stands open. Okay. There is cargo in the hold marked for this destination, a long, low, heavy box. It'll be fun getting it up the stairs, no doubt. There's a great deal of grumbling from the crew. The stairs are sharp-edged and wet. The box is heavy and its contents inclined to shift. After a few slips and a bad bruise to the shin, you resort to placing crew members along the stairs, handing the box along. There's a warehouse at the top of the stairs, but it is not apparently your destination. Another sign points along a narrow path towards the building with the spire. "Deliveries," it says, more aggressively this time. Someone in the spired building is singing. The song sets your teeth on edge. Aren't your teeth already on edge? Because I guess they're on point because they're lodged in your gums by little points, but still. I mean, your teeth are edged, so I would assume that, I don't know. I feel like they would be in that status all the time. Oh no, there's challenges. Ooh, we have a pretty good run on both of these, though. You have a long, heavy box, winding path ahead that runs perhaps a quarter mile through the mist. The crew is beginning to mutter about having to do landlubber work. There's a warehouse just to your right, but the sign says deliveries are to be taken onwards. It says it rather emphatically, as a matter of fact. So we can send ahead to the building for extra hands. We can break into the warehouse and leave the box there. Or we can carry the box onto the building with the spire. That's our best chance, so I'm going to do it. And so... God. The path is slippery and lined with mushrooms. You and your crew have to stop 7 or 8 times to set down the boxes and blow on your hands. The closer you get, the less the building with the spire looks like a church. The walls are soot blackened and made of brick. There are no windows, only narrow vents up near the roof. From these, a low singing can be heard, a song so cheerful that your crew look at one another and frown. It's the song of someone keeping monsters at bay. At last, you are close enough to bang on the door. An austere acolyte answers it. She's dressed in black from head to foot. Her gloves are thicker and her goggles are double glass. "Leave the boxes at the door," she says to you, and then turns back into the building singing her song. Something about candied kittens and flaming violets and the coming of spring. Judging by the rhyme, she's inventing the words as she goes along. You stop her and explain that you expect extra work to be rewarded. She makes a grudging gesture, but complies. You get 100 fragments. Oh, that kind of sucks. I was hoping for something a bit more pecuniary. 5 earning the acolyte's favor. The austere acolyte directs the arrangement of the long box in the room under the steeple. There are many other boxes already stacked in rows, 3 or 4 times as many as you have brought. So 4 or 3. In another corner of the room is a pile of wood for previous boxes already emptied and dismantled. Singing to herself about a mountain upholstered in velvet, she takes a crowbar to the box. The corpse inside is permanently dead in a way that the dead of London often are not. Not a drowning, not a tomb colonist, but not coming back either. It looks pale and ordinary, except for a slight distension of the skin over the breastbone. Gently, the acolyte presses there and nods. Presses here and there, I suppose, and nods, singing about tulips embroidered with yellow floss. She lifts the body onto a marble slab. Without pause in her lyrics, she prepares a scalpel. Your presence doesn't really seem to bother her. Well, you've never heard of this practice before. The austere acolyte extracts deftly and with very little blood a heart-sized sphere of silver-gray metal. With a giant nutcracker, she cracks the sphere and another sphere inside that, and then another. Finally, in the center, she comes to something heavy, small, and black. She lifts it out with tongs and looks at it through her goggles. The song falters, but she manages to keep humming, though the words are lost. She puts the black and heavy thing into a jar marked with a word of the correspondence. She closes the jar and seals it with red wax. Finally, when the corpse is removed again and the marble slab wiped clean, she comes to pay you. "Thank you," she says. "Return another day and I may have something else for you." So we've gained 1 secret, 2 earning the acolyte's favor, so we're up to 7. I don't know if that's good or bad. We've lost our Sooth and Cooper long box. And I guess that's it. Okay, so I guess that's like an ongoing thing. So once again, I guess we have another quest that we have to complete multiple times. I'm going to be really honest. I'm not a fan of that mechanic. Like, it seems like after a couple playthroughs, that's the first time that I've ever gotten one of those, and the fact that we have to deliver a bunch of them to make the quest work, it's a little bit of a downer, to be honest, with how rare they are. I still feel like everything in this game is designed to be grindy. Like, everything is designed to be done like 12 times just to kind of occupy you. And it's a little bit of a downer. Like, I actually want something to happen, like, when I turn something in. I mean, obviously we got the secret and whatnot, but that wasn't much of an explanation as to, like, what's going on. Which is what, honestly, I would give the secret back, and I would give back all the fragments, too, if I could just, like, figure out what the storyline is that's going on. We're going to swing on out to Guider's Mourn. Well, we might be able to make it up to Port Palmerston, I don't know. I wanted to drop the other hunting trophy off with the Abbey, just to figure out what it does. I think the Abbey, you lose terror or something by turning it in, but I don't remember, so we're going to try it out. We could definitely afford to lose some terror, especially if we kill 5 or 6 of those. We could clear that out. Then again, it costs us crew every time we do it, so maybe, maybe not. It might be a good plan, it might be a bad plan. Let's go to Guider's Mourn. Let's explore the Mourn and see what comes up. Okay, and so we've got the patriotic dispute between the Kaganians and the Chelonians. Let's side with the Kaganians. And so the Chelonians are a fierce crew, but with your assistance, the Kaganians send them running. The privateer lieutenant still wears the red and gold uniform of the Canaan Navy, although his epaulettes are gone, and no doubt he's entitled to it. He clasps your hand. Thank you. Show this sign if you ever come to Khan's Heart. And he gives us another pewter head, or a pewter horse head. Okay, so we've got 2 of them now. I'm not really sure if we can actually do any of those things out in the Canaan. I've given those to people to keep us from getting attacked before, and they work out pretty well. And I think we turned one in the poor area of the Canaan, but I don't know if we can use it anywhere else. We also want to gather intelligence, which is going to be risky, 43%. Ooh, we succeeded. The whispers that a Canaan trimmer... Okay, we got that before. We got another strategic information and a port report. And then the shivering corsair with a package. Oh god, they're cold. Take them from me. Take them. Where's my money? Don't you cheat me. Take them, but I want my money. And so we lose the 1,000 echoes, and we give him the crate of bottled souls. Very good. And I think we're about where we want to be right now. I think... So let's plan this out. What we want to do with our 10 fuel. I think we could technically make the run all the way around if we were indeed inclined to do so. However, it does seem like a bit much. I think with the time we have left, I would much rather... I suppose we'll go west. Maybe we'll go to Shepherd Isles, come back down to Abbey Rock, and then that'll be our voyage for the day. This guy's going to try and get me, so I'm going to swing around. Oh, he actually could make that turn. That's incredibly surprising. Okay, well, hopefully we can out-accelerate him, because that was all bad. He totally juked us right there. I did not expect that to occur in the fashion that it occurred. I'm not going to fight any of these ships, because fighting in this game, it's led me to believe that any fight in this game is a terrible idea, especially if they have guns. The monsters don't seem to be quite so bad, but some of the bigger monsters definitely are. Some of the ships definitely seem to present a major tactical problem where you're going to take damage no matter what you do, and in the worst case, if you catch a bad crit, you're done for, and it's just adventure over. We do have a will, so it's not that big of a deal, but not really too keen on starting over, especially since I'm not so sure what the duration of the series is going to be from here on out. I do have... This is the 3rd episode that I've recorded today, and so we've got 3 episodes at the bare minimum, just giving you a little insight into how I've kind of pre-recorded all of this. But once again, we're getting into kind of like grindy stuff that I'm not sure that I really want to participate in on camera or off camera, and so once it gets to that point, it starts to make me think that it might be time to bid adieu to the game. I mean, there are still things that we're discovering. I don't want to talk about it as though, you know, nothing new ever happens. We're still discovering stuff, but the amount of just random busy work I do in between discovering each new thing makes me wonder if maybe it's not really suited for a series any longer, just because there's so much like random busy work to be done. So anyways, if I can keep from bumping my microphone again, I just smacked it with my hand because I make hand gestures while I talk. I don't know if you all know that, but I make hand gestures while I talk to you through my screen. And so you should always talk with your hands. That's a big thing. A lot of people don't realize that. If you're doing like public speaking or anything, you should always talk with hand gestures. You should practice it. For whatever reason, people like hand gestures. I don't know. I think it's just the movement, and maybe I have no clue. But when you give speeches, you should always use hand motions. Always. We'll do a picnic at the Standing Stones, I guess. We lost 5 echoes. We lost 3 terror. That's actually not so terrible. You could actually grind that down pretty well. Oh, never mind. You can't. I was going to say, if I can do it repeatedly, you can grind that down pretty quickly using that cost. That's not actually less than cost effective. Do that 20 times and you'll have lost about 60 terror. So yeah, it's definitely cost effective. We've got Field Haven's report. And we wanted to go to Abbey Rock. That was our next thing. So let's swing over to Abbey Rock. We'll talk to the sisters. And once we get our Whoopi Goldberg on over here, I think we'll be in a position where we can head back to London, collect our cash for the various exploits that we've participated in today, and maybe see if any other storyline tidbits come up. If indeed they don't, I'm not really sure how we're going to occupy ourselves in the next episode. I'd love to get another one of those Stern and Cooper long boxes. I mean, it'd be great to get one because I want to see where that storyline quest goes. Abbey Rock. And so they will... Oh, they give you 11 echoes for supplies. Okay. Well, shit, I could unload like all my supplies right here. It'd just be like, eh. Give them my news since we have nothing else to do with it. And then, let's see. Oh, it reduces your terror. Okay. Sisterhood respects 2 things: unswerving decades of fidelity to a holy secret purpose and the ability to shoot straight. Perhaps you could demonstrate the second. The muscular prioress inspects your trophy. I'll put it with the others, she says. Her tone suggests grudging respect. You and no more than 3 Zailers are invited to dine with them that evening. And you do, on a black laver bread and slightly burnt cavern trout among fierce women with spiked rosaries. One of them hacks up her trout with an axe. But at the end of the evening, when the plates are cleared away, the room goes quiet. A tall nun with a startling strabismus sings in a rich, deep voice like a stolen sunset. She's got like a Cher thing going on about the hills of her homeland far above. Firelight flickers on the faces of your crew, and so we lost 8 terror. I suppose that if you could pull together like 5 or 6 of those, that wouldn't be a bad way to offset your terror either. I mean, either way, it's not the most efficient way to clear out the terror, especially considering if you come down to the Abbey... Actually, I think we can leap from here over to Mutton Island without gaining any terror. Let's give it a try. Actually, that looks a bit far, but I don't think that's Mutton Island. I don't know if we can make that hop without getting a terror point. Let's try. I think we're probably going to gain 1 terror. Yeah, we're going to gain 1 terror. Maybe even 2. Oh, no. Oh, because the strobe light came through. Nice. We timed it just perfectly. Well, then, no problems to be had. I'm going to go around the eastern edge, or I'm sorry, the western edge of the island right here. Hop over to the shore. Okay. And then back into London we go to hopefully make another... Well, I think we're probably about to make 600 echoes. I mean, it's not much for the amount of time. I mean, 30 minutes for 600 echoes. I can't decide whether it's more efficient to farm lifebergs or not, but... You know, close enough. Close enough, I'll take it. So what I'm going to do is I think I'll probably leave the series right here, much as I did with Tropico, where I'll take your input once we get to the comments section portion, and I'll decide if I want to record any further once we get to there. But as it stands right now, nothing interesting appears to be happening. Nightmare's strength stays at 1. Let's go ahead to the Harbor Master. We've got that. Get our payment from him, so there's 200 echoes. The Alarming Scholar likes all of our stuff, but I think she gives us 15 for those or something. The Admiral will obviously want the strategic information. And then we've got port reports as well. Not very many, but we've got a couple. I suppose we'll try with that. I mean, I've never succeeded at that. So. Okay, and so we got 100 echoes for Station 3, so that's good. Abbey Rock, the Cumaean Canal, Quaker's Haven, and Godfall. There we go. And so that's put us, oh, we made about 700, even better. And so I think I'm going to break the series, or not the series, I'm going to break the episode off right here, and I'm going to wait to confer with all of you as to what you think we should be doing. To put it out, I mean, I don't really have much to do in the next episode. We could kill icebergs. We could do another roundabout of the entire map and make about another 1,000 echoes, but at the end of the day, we're not really going to earn enough money to be able to afford anything. And simultaneously, it's time consuming. So let me know if you just want to move on to a new game, or B, if you just want to, like, do the same activities again. It's up to you. I don't really mind either way. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for watching, and this is Sunless Sea. Check the game out. It's very, very good. I will see you next time. Take care, everybody, and hi-do.